Hello, this is Michael from the Pierce County Beekeeper Association, and this is a quick video to go over one of the four key documents that I think a treasurer needs to keep up in order to perform their job properly. So the one I'm going to go over now is the balance sheet, and the balance sheet is the second tab in the workbook that treasurer uses. We just in a previous video went over the ledger. And the balance sheet keeps track of your expenses based on the actual activity. So a ledger is a chronology of transactions based on a credit debit type of scenario. The balance sheet is the transactions based on categories of activity. So you can see here for the month of August we had membership, $300 coming from memberships. We sold Washington State Beekeeper books, $210 worth. Got a couple of hats, a couple of extractor rentals, etc. And also their operating expenses. We had about $5 in transaction fees. We sent reimbursement check to Washington State Beekeepers for the books that we received that month. And we purchased supplies for the apiary purchase, looks like frames and foundation, if I recall correctly, and some sugar, and we also purchased some signs for the apiary. So the advantage of doing it this way is you can answer questions like, well, how much did we spend on, on the apiary this year? And in fact, let me just hide these columns for a second, and you can see at the end of the year we'll be able to see a nice grand total for what we spent on each of those, or what money came in for each of those items, as well as what we spent for each of these items. So that's really the handy part of tracking your expenses this way. Now, a couple of key things. How do you verify that this is staying in sync with your ledger? So let's look at that. So there's really four key numbers here. You have your beginning and ending balance for the month. So 5029 and 5074. If you go to your ledger, you should see those exact same numbers for the month of August, 5029, which is the ending balance for July, and 5074, ending balance for August. So those two numbers should line up. The second thing you can check is here's the income, total income of 613. So if you go to your ledger, you should be able to add up all the income here. We had a couple of deposits, and then we also had several transactions for the month here, and this was a test, so ignore that. So deposits of 613. So now if we go back to your balance sheet, 613, and you can do the same thing with the expenses. Let's see, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover with the balance sheet. There are a couple of other tabs here which are optional. Approved budgets, something I use to keep track of what budgets we approve in the board and kind of how they're going. I should also point out that I highlight that in this particular balance sheet. This was an approved budget of $1,000 for the year, so it's the way that I use to verify that we're staying within budget. Here we had a few other budgets we established in a board meetings, various board meetings. And so this represents one of the four key documents that I think the treasurer needs to maintain and keep up as part of their job. Hopefully this was helpful.